Welcome, Greek U Nation, to episode number 701 of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mike Ayalon, CEO of Greek University. I'm a speaker and an author. Our ninth book just came out. It's called From Letters to Leaders, The Legacy of Service. So I want you to go out and pick up that book on Amazon today. We call these episodes the Fraternity Foodie Podcast because there is nothing like great food to bring college students together. Fun fact, I absolutely love working with physical therapists. If you have some kind of an injury or you have some kind of pain in your life, my suggestion is go see a physical therapist first, okay? Instead of after, seeing this person and that person and all these other people, just go to a physical therapist because, they have all of the exercises that you need in order to remove that pain from your life naturally without additional medications or additional that all those medications, they have side effects too. So I think we need to keep all of that stuff in mind. And so I'm really grateful. When I had back pain, and boy, oh boy, years ago, I had terrible, terrible back pain. And the physical therapist, he gave me all the exercises that I needed. He showed me how to do them in his office. And then he said, now go home and do the same thing. It was great. So I cannot say enough good things about the physical therapists that are out there. God bless them and their work. I think it's really great to have natural solutions to some of the pain that Americans can feel just through injury or other problems. So I just want to throw out that plug. And speaking of physical therapists, let's talk to our next guest. Sandy Mortensen is a retired therapist and a graduate of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. She has more than 45 years of experience across hospital and private practice. Sandy owned and operated physical therapy clinics in Colorado, where she specialized in post-surgical and injury rehabilitation, as well as pain management. She is an experienced presenter and an educator who trained physical therapists and healthcare professionals throughout her entire career. Welcome to the show, Sandy.
Thanks, Mike. Glad to be here.
It is an honor to have you on the show. I am just so excited, and I know that our college students have so much to learn from you. So I really appreciate you being here. And let's just talk about this profession, which, I just went ahead and threw all kinds of flowers at. You spent more than 45 years as a physical therapist, helping people recover from injuries, from surgeries. So what first inspired you to dedicate your retirement when most people are like, forget it, I'm going to go and hit the golf course. You're never going to see me again. But instead, you're helping people to prevent those problems before they happen. So what inspired you to do that?
Well, when I retired, I was very sad because I loved my profession. I loved it. People are happy when they get better. And so I was facing a huge transition, but in no time at all, my phone started ringing and people would say, Sandy, could you just give me some advice about this ache or this pain? Should I see a doctor for this? What should I do? Can you give me something to do? Then my family members started calling. Mom, I saw the doctor and I'm not any better. Do you have any suggestions? And from that, a year or so later, they would call me back and say, I forgot to tell you, that worked. That was amazing. Those three little things you gave me improved dramatically. You need to write a book because you made it simple and you made it easy and got me started.
Wow, that's wonderful. You're absolutely right. I remember when I had the back problems, I started out going to a chiropractor first, thinking, well, that's going to solve all my problems. Well, the pain never went away. Like, it felt good to get a massage. Sure, who doesn't like a massage, right? But at the end of the day, is the pain still there or not? And the pain was still there. And I'm like, I got to go see a physical therapist. And then from that point on, it was miraculous in terms of the great exercises they were able to suggest. So I really appreciate your profession. But at 83, you're still skiing, you're still hiking. Tell our audience. I mean, we want to know this. You must have discovered this fountain of youth that we don't know about. What is your secret, and what surprises people most when they hear your secret?
Mike, first, everybody has that little fountain of youth. They just don't tap into it. Um, what surprises people the most? The fact that I don't go to a gym and I don't go to a rec center. And and I don't spend 3 times a week, an hour and a half working out. I spend as little as 5 minutes in the beginning of every day doing something for balance or something for flexibility or something for strength to get my day going. It doesn't mean that I don't have a bigger workout program, but I do it through the day because a lot of us, we spend way too much time doing this because we have a break. Let's catch up on this. Instead, stand up and do something for balance, something for strength, something for flexibility.
Yeah, you
That
make a
keeps
great
that
point.
keeps me going.
Yeah, you make a great point. I mean, I work out every morning, but I don't really do much after that. After that, I get into work, and then I'm buried in work. And by the time I pick my head up, it's time to cook dinner. So I don't really do that. But you make a great point. We all have free time that
Yes.
pops up throughout the day. Maybe you take a break and you go for a walk, or you stretch, or you do different things throughout the day, as opposed to maybe just in the beginning, and then the rest of the day you're just sitting in a chair, not moving, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that's really interesting. Now, a lot of our listeners are college students, and we all want to have as successful a life as you had, and certainly physically at 83, you're able to do everything, which is phenomenal, and we all want that, okay? So I guess the question is, why do you think college students is actually the perfect time to start building that habit while they're in college?
Well, I sort of see this as a two-part question. There's the growing older part, and there's the habit part. And I want to start out by talking a little bit about a habit. I was probably in my 30s when somebody asked me a similar question. Why would I want to begin doing this in college? And I said, I had to look back. When did I start doing this? I realized in college I had early morning classes. And if I didn't get up early enough in the morning, get my brain going and my body going, and have time to eat breakfast, I wasn't going to make it to my class in time. By the time I got to my junior and senior year, I was in physical therapy classes most all the time, expanded my horizons on what is balance, what is flexibility, what is strength. And I certainly didn't have time to go to a gym. So that's when I started my first habit. Today, before I get out of bed, I start my wake up the brain flexibility, throw those covers back and do some of the things that I could show you in a bit. Um, but the other part is the getting older part. I didn't think about getting old when I was in college. I thought about getting to class on time, passing my exams, getting that little piece of paper at the end, and finding a job. But older age, creeps up and it's very slow. It's devious. And before you know it, it's a little harder to wake up early. It's a little harder to move. And before you know it, you're skiing blue runs instead of black runs. I'm very fortunate that I still have friends I can ski with who like a few black runs during the day, and they're my age. Um, I asked one day, our group diminished in size over the last 20 some years, both the golf group and the skiing group. And what I was left with were a few people my age, and we looked around, what happened to our friends? So I said to them, what do you do to be able to still be doing this? Sandy, we do the same thing you do. Today, we don't even get out of bed without doing something to move our muscles, to wake up our brain and stand up and stretch, and then go get that cup of coffee or the breakfast and get out for the day. So that's amazing. Here's the problem. They said they didn't start until they were in their 30s and 40s. I feel lucky I started in my college days doing something, and I still do it today. They all say they wish they had started sooner rather than playing catch up and try to stay ahead of the game. So I would say start now. It's never too early and it's never too late. I tell you one little statistic. This is from 1924 because it's a little hard to gather the information. In 1924, they surveyed retirees, people who quit working, and most of them were 65 or older. 50% of them said they were unable to physically do what's on their bucket list. You don't think about that when you're 20. You think, when I retire, I'm going to take that hiking trip in Nepal. When I retire, I'm going to go play golf in Scotland. You don't think about that, and you don't think that it's possible that it might happen that you can't do it. But if you do something every morning to wake up your body and your brain, you'll still be doing it when you are older.
That's great news and great advice to our college students. I can lift weights with the best of them. That's not a problem, but my flexibility is not very good. So now you got me thinking about stretching and making sure that I got that flexibility, which is different muscle, so to say, than just lifting weights. So now I'm thinking my whole routine as well. And a lot of the students who are listening right now, I'm just being honest with you, they are spending hours
Yeah.
sitting in class,
Yes.
studying,
Yes.
playing games, it could be PlayStation or whatever, working on their laptops in front of their phones, right? But they're just sitting. So
Yeah.
how much damage does that sedentary lifestyle do, even when they're young in age?
That is there is the most frightening statistic out there is sitting is the new smoking. It is the number one issue that contributes to every health issue we have or we ever get. It also sitting, it's harder to recover from an illness or a surgery if you've been sitting for a long time, for all your life, and not having a mobility program in your life, especially first thing in the morning. So years ago, they used to say every hour, get up and stretch, walk, do something every hour. How many people do that? Do they set the timer on their computer so that it's like, oh, I should get up right now? Okay, just give me another minute. And an hour later, that other minute is 2 hours later. Today, they now have the data, get up every 30 minutes and do something to move. So you'd be surprised how many sections of time you have during the day where you go, let me think about that for a while. Okay. And you're thinking you could get up and just stretch, um, bend over, whatever. It doesn't take any space. It doesn't take anything special.
Yeah.
So, sitting is not just all you need to have is a mobility routine of some sort or another.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. My mom was an ER nurse for 40 years, and the amount of problems you would have with patients who were confined to a bed and weren't moving. I mean, there's so many issues there, for people who are in hospital beds for long, extended periods of time. She would tell me all of the horror stories that she saw. A lot of bad stuff. So I think that speaks to your point of that we were designed to move every so often and get up, right?
Yeah, oh yes,
Yeah.
for sure. Yes.
Mhm. You mentioned something before that really kind of caught my eye. You talk about this wake up your brain routine, and you mentioned in some of the materials that I reviewed that it's not just about movement. You're saying that it also helps with focus and mental acuity. So, can you explain this activity, this routine, and how it helps with all of these things?
Okay, let's start up here with the brain. There are two halves to that brain. This side sort of is the master controller of the opposite side of your body, and this side is sort of the master controller of this. But they both have to work together. And oftentimes people say, I'm better at doing this with my right hand and doing these activities that are right. And other people say, and I'm better at the left side. Don't ask me to do it with my right. So we have to wake up both sides of our brain to get ready for the day. And waking up your brain and your body first thing, our brain and our body are our engine. It's the engine for the day. It's the pumping the blood. It's getting the nerves to send the signals to the muscles to begin to move. They took a long nap too during the night. So they go, how many now wake up and they are going, oh my gosh, I I And first thing I need to do is get my cup of coffee. They don't even turn on the light. And they get out of bed and they shuffle to the bathroom. They shuffle to the coffee pot, pour the coffee, and shuffle back. Hope I don't trip over the clothes I left on the floor last night. Okay, I got my day started with my coffee. But if you wake up your brain and get everything moving and get the blood flowing and the nerves working, it's like turning the light switch on to go get the cup of coffee. It's amazing, truly amazing what that does. There are now studies out there. They are very interesting studies because they now know that early morning movement, especially balance, flexibility, and strength, early morning movements contribute to your mental acuity and your ability to focus. I thought it was interesting that somebody took the effort and time to see, is there a difference if you do something to move rather than just get out of bed and struggle to the coffee pot, hopefully get to class on time. Any of you look around in your first class? How many people have their head on their desk? Sure, they're sleeping.
Yeah.
I saw it. I'm sure you do too. So don't be one of those people. Get going first thing in the day. I paid a lot of money to go to school and get that education. I'm not going to sleep through it. I'm going to bring an alert, active, focused brain to do what I signed up to do.
Yeah, well, that's
Gee,
great advice
Michael.
there. And that's usually also why I work out first thing in the morning. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to be sleeping at my desk because I've already had a full workout. So that's not going to happen. But you're right. I see a lot of college students waking up literally a couple of minutes before they have to be in class. And then they run out the door, no breakfast, no exercise, no nothing. And then they're passed out. They go back to bed in class. And I'm like, what a waste, right? I mean, you paid all that money for nothing. I mean, you can't absorb this through osmosis. You have to be paying attention to what's going on in class.
And Mike, you said the key word there afterwards, not besides moving, you need to eat.
You need to
You
eat,
need to put
right?
the fuel in the body
Yeah.
for everything else to function. It's a two-part equation. It's not just one.
Yeah, I totally agree. They're not doing it and they're exhausted. I mean,
Yes.
they're also not getting enough sleep. Let's just start there.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
they're not. I
That's
mean,
a
I
whole
can
other
tell.
topic.
You look at them in the face and you're like, I can tell you're exhausted right now. How much sleep did you get last night? They're like 4 hours. I'm like, that's not enough. Right? I mean, it's ridiculous, totally ridiculous. All right, so let's talk about my flexibility because I cannot bend down and reach my toes. I have really bad flexibility, okay? But I already lift weights every morning. I play
Okay.
sports. So why should I be spending time working on my flexibility and balance now?
Okay, very good question. Flexibility and balance are components of every sports activity out there and every daily activity that you have just to get ready to go do anything in your life. So, flexibility and balance are always important. And you hit the nail on the head again. We forget about flexibility and spending a little more time or the balance. So, why again flexibility and balance? Because every sport activity requires you to have stability to take the ball, get ready to throw it to the catcher. And you can't throw that ball if you can't have a strong core, strong butt, strong legs, feet, toes, ankle, and range of motion. I see people go, oh, I have good abduction. I have good flexion. Oh, I have good rotation. That's not how we work. We work, let's throw the ball again. My hands are at my side. I take the ball. I've lifted it up. I'm taking it out to the side. I'm rotating my arm, my head, my body. And then I'm letting it go, and my whole body twists the other way. If I don't have that flexibility in my spine, my hips, my knees, my ankles, and my toes, don't forget you've got toes, they all move. What we do is we put them all tie them all up so they don't move. Toes need that. They contribute to our balance and our flexibility. So I'm a big fan of a little extra time on balance and flexibility, especially if you go to the gym, it's the missing component. So start that in the morning early
Yeah.
or end your exercise routine with a little flexibility. So that's why I pay attention to and as we get older, well, I'll talk about balance in a minute, but
Yeah.
it's so easy to do one simple thing. One easy thing when you get out of bed in the morning and you do your stretch. Okay, this is good. The next thing is I do a squat and I put my hands on the floor or my fingertips if I can't get my hands on the floor. I move my hands over to the right, over to the left. Then I straighten out my legs, keep my hands on the floor. I'm just stretching my hamstrings. I'm stretching my ankles. I'm stretching all my toes, my plantar fascia. How many people have plantar fasciitis these days?
Yeah.
And then I bend my knees and come up and go way back and reach to one side, the other side. And I always look at what I'm doing with my head and my eyes. Six muscles in each eye. They have juice in there. They need to work. They don't work. When you're sitting looking at that computer, those muscles are not working. They need to work. If you're looking at your phone, those muscles are not working. So make them work. They need to do it too. So when I do that, all those flexibility things, that's one quick, simple thing. It's less than 60 seconds unless you want to do two or three or four of them, um, and get going for the day. Does that make
Yeah.
any sense to you?
Makes total sense to me. I mean, you're really talking about this full body workout, and it makes me think about some of the misconceptions that young people have about fitness. So, sometimes I see guys that, they're working on, chest and biceps every single day, but then I look at their legs and like their legs haven't been worked out at all. They have these skinny like chicken legs. And I'm like, no, you have to, with the whole body needs to be working. And then I ask them about leg day and they're like, no, what leg day? Like there is none in their schedule. So, I mean, are there other misconceptions that you see young people have about fitness?
Yes, and I'm going to read my list
All
because
right.
these are great misconceptions. It takes too much time to work out.
Mhm.
You have to go to a gym or a fitness center in order to get anything out of being stronger. You have to lift heavy weights. You have to sweat. You need to work up to 3 sets of 10 and sweat. Then you have to put in being sore the next day. You need special clothes to go to the gym because everybody's got special clothes. So special place, heavyweight, special, too much time. They are all fallacies of having better balance, strength, or flexibility. Um, it's really easy to do something every day, but start the day with balance, with 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes in bed to do it. But those are the big misconceptions of and I'll say one more thing about balance and flexibility. Balance is not standing on one leg, focusing on something across the room, hands at my side, and can I be there for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, not move? That is not balance. Balance is moving out of the center of gravity and back without falling, moving over here. So when I do my balance routines, I stand on one leg. I move my head. Move my arms, standing on one leg, go up, go down, go cross your body. Give it a try. Challenge your balance. That's how you make your balance better, is to challenge it. But start easy. Don't be hard on yourself. If you can only stand in balance for 5 seconds, that's your starting point. Don't compare yourself to others. You are your own individual. And we also now know, even up into your 90s, you can keep your balance and improve your balance wherever you start. Your starting point is it. Not that at other 80-year-olds can barely stand on one leg. That's their starting point. So make it easy so that and you can barely do it. Working on it, you can test yourself and see, is it improving? Is it not improving because I work on it a little every day? Oh my gosh, in a week or a month, all of a sudden they are able to balance. Flexibility is the same thing. When I do my flexibility routines, I'm doing them in motion to get to get full range of motion. It's not, okay, I'm flexible. I'm flexible. No, no, no. You have to
Yeah.
put it together with combined motions because that's how we function, play sports, do almost anything.
Mhm.
That makes sense to you?
Makes perfect sense to me. The college students are very busy, so I like the fact that you have this, 5-minute routine every morning. I think that's helpful. And they don't need a gym membership to do this, by the way. I know that all the college students, you guys are broke. I get it. I was a broke college student at one point as well. So I
Mhm.
totally get it. So if somebody's listening right now and they're committed to just 5 minutes every morning, what should that routine look like?
Okay, I'm going to talk you through it and show you, except for the ones where standing up you won't be able to see. But first thing in the morning, before I throw the covers back, first thing I do, I put my hands together, I put my thumbnails together, and then I reach them out in front of me, and I focus on my thumbnails, and I do a small figure eight lying on its side, and just look at those thumbnails. And then I go up, figure eight up, figure eight back down, go the other way. Then after that, I do whole arms, the figure eight. And at the same time I'm doing that, I'm moving my legs. Then I get up, do this, and come way down into my squat. While I'm squatting and coming back up, I'm strengthening my legs, my butt, my back, my abs, and moving my arms because strength depends on a strong core while you're moving your upper body. So we just got flexibility, strength, and balance doing that. And then the squats, the squat where you bend down, put your hands on the floor, straighten your legs, move side to side down there, get back in the squat, come up and stretch again, and make sure your eyes follow wherever your hands go, your eyes are following. Wakes up both sides of your brain, turns on the focus, the energy, and everything else. And I end with, how's my balance now? Can I stand on one leg? How long can I stand there? Can I start moving my arms? Okay, can I stand on the other leg? Can I make it up? I tested myself. I only got 10 seconds the first time I did this. Okay, now I'm up to 15 seconds because I do it every day. Oh, now I'm up to 20 seconds. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get to my 5 minutes. You can repeat the little sequence as often as you want, but I guarantee you can start out. That whole thing can be done in 2 or 3 minutes. And it's how many repetitions do you want to do, which also helps to improve balance, strength, and flexibility to do. And 5 minutes, 5 minutes. You got it.
Fantastic. That's a great morning routine. I think it's something that every college student can do. You don't need a gym membership to do this, but if you build that habit, then to your point, it gets easier over time and you can do that longer in terms of balance and things like that. That's fantastic. That's a good
But
competition.
may I add one other thing? It's
Yeah.
that I say in my book. People go, no fancy clothes. I said, the thing about doing this first thing in the morning, you can do it in your pajamas. You can do it in no pajamas. You can turn on the music. You can, nobody has to see you do it. If you're successful at it, great. If you're not, if you're successful at doing that, then what you need to do is you take this hand, you take it over here on the left shoulder, and you say, good job. I successfully completed my first task of the day. Because it doesn't matter if you're in college or your job or parenting, whatever it is, you will have your ups and downs. You are not successful at everything. You are challenged to have to come back and try again. Or, oh gosh, I did that, but I sure messed up. I could have done better. So to be successful first thing in the day, this is your first successful completed task. I will tell you that that will leads to success in everything you do, to just do that.
Yeah, totally agree. I love it. I do the same thing with my workout routine every day, and it does feel like, hey, I'm off to a good start today. So if you can do that every single day of your life, I tell you what, other things become a little bit easier to get accomplished as you're rolling, right? It's all a momentum thing. It's easier to build on those successes every single day. So all this is great. I love the morning routine in bed in your pajamas, all great. I love the fact that you're still skiing and you're hiking and you're playing golf at 83. I think that's amazing. I mean, that could be another really good habit is to find some activity, some sport that you can do young and old,
Mhm.
which you've been able to do for a lifetime. So, are there other habits that you wish every college student would develop before they graduate from college that would pay dividends for the rest of their life?
I think the number one habit, the number one habit for success in your life is the one we've been talking about. Waking up early, eating something with the fuel for your body, having the first completion of the day. Uh, there are too many things that we are not successful at. So that to me is the number one takeaway is that habit because that works whether you're on a job, going to class, raising children, going on vacation. It's still be on time for the plane, the train, the group that's going to tour the Eiffel Tower or whatever else. So number one habit takeaway is begin today. And it's never too early, but it's never too late. If you skip it and you get to be 35 or 40, go back and think about this little podcast. It's never, you can improve from wherever you start.
I love it. So many great lessons you shared with us today, and our college students, I think, are going to be better for it. So, where can our listeners go to learn more about your work? Of course, they want to pick up a copy of your book. It's called Alive at 65, Greater at 80. Look at that right there by Sandra Mortensen. Fantastic. Where can they go to pick up the book and learn more about you?
Amazon.com. It's short and easy. I will say one other little thing about the book. I started out writing that book for women 55, 60, and older. More men have read my book and given me feedback than women. More young people have said, "What do you mean 65 or older?" I had a hard time doing some of those things. And other people said, "Yes, but you put in how to make it more challenging once it got easy. So don't think about it being for 65 and older. That's just where you are in your life and why you're still skiing and still playing golf." So, and yes, it is. And it also, having successful tasks at the end of the day makes you a happier person because those difficult tasks tend to get you down. It's nice to have one that picks you up
That's
and be
fantastic. You've
successful.
given us a lot to chew on here today, so we appreciate that. And it is funny when you write a book, you have a certain customer in mind for that book, and then other people get it and they're like, well, this applies to me too. Or they use it in different ways than you ever dreamed of. It's a very funny thing being an author, and hearing about all the different ways they use your book, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what your time frame is, but I have one quick story if you want one.
Sure, go for it.
So I had many people that were very gracious and helped me with editing over quite a number of years. And one was a friend, but a sort of a distant friend. And so he gave me great advice on in editing. And then one day he picked up the phone and he said, "Sandy, I've been doing the routines in your book. There are no exercises in the book. People don't like the word exercise that don't exercise. So they are movement routines." He said, "I've been doing the next thing I know, my wife is taking my book. So I bought her a copy. She's doing them." And he says, "And I'm calling you about a year and a half into doing the routines myself. And we now go to CrossFit." He's 75 years old. He said, "Never in my life did I think I would cross this threshold of a CrossFit studio, gym, fitness center." And he says, "It's given me a new lease on life." And he said, "Just from reading your book."
That's a
I,
great testimonial.
I tell you, I was blown away.
That's a great testimonial. So go and pick up the book. That's the moral of the story. It's called Alive at 65, Greater at 80. And Sandy Mortensen, fantastic work as always. So thank you so much for sharing all of this great information with our college students today.
Thank you, Mike. It
Of
was a pleasure
course.
being here
Of
and sharing.
course. And to our listeners, if you learned something from Sandy today, and I know you did because I learned like 10 things, please share this episode with your entire fraternity or sorority chapter. Drop a link in the group chat or share it on social media because you never know who needs to hear Sandy's message today. Thank you so much to our listeners. We'll see you on the next episode of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. Bye for now.